on the Newman Jets Audio Network. This is the Jetcast, the official podcast of Newman University Athletics, featuring exclusive interviews with coaches, players, administrators, and more. The Jetcast podcast is brought to you by South Central Ceiling and Paving, online at SCSEALING.com. Mel Hambledon Ford, Pepsi, Eck Agency, Donlinger Construction, Big Corner Creative, Dr. Brennan Lucas and Advanced Orthopedic Associates, Keystone Solid Surfaces, and by Overland Charters, the official transportation provider of Newman University Athletics. Here's the voice of the Newman Jets, Blake Cripps.
Here we are on the brink. The Newman Jets basketball season really gets started in earnest. The MIAA opener, they will be starting play tonight. So it is an early edition of the Jetcast here, episode number 52. As you are watching this, probably we are a couple of hours away. 5:30 tip-off tonight. You can actually watch this game this evening on the Newman Jets Audio Network. Listen there, newmanjets.com/listen, or on one of these on your mobile device. Or, of course, you can watch it on the MIAA network as the Jets get set for Pittsburgh State. Saturday, they are going to Joplin to face the Lions of Missouri Southern. And we're going to start pre-gaming early with the head coach of the Jets, R.J. Allen. Coach, 3-2. 3-game winning streak, obviously, hopefully building a little bit of confidence, and especially these last two games, I know that you've been a lot more happy with how your team has played. How does it feel? Do you feel like you are as prepared as you could be going into the MIAA this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I mean, it's a good question.
It is a good question. We're always in the mindset that we can improve. Absolutely, but we've had an opportunity to have some non-conference games this year. Just a phenomenal opportunity for us to learn in November without it being league play. So that's the positive side of it. We have a ton of room for improvement and growth, and the kids have really embraced that as well. They want to get better. They're eager to learn. So that's been a positive, and ready or not, here we go.
Well, and the guy we've got coming up, A.J. Morris here on the show. Also, Faith Mason-Vestal from the women's team coming up later in the program, so stay tuned for that. But one guy who is a new guy has to come in and try to learn something a little bit different is our next guest, A.J. Morris. And he's been a guy that has played it's his third school, played 2 years with the JUCO route, then went D1. A guy that you and Coach DePriest really wanted to get here to Wichita, lost out on him, went to a higher level, had a nice little 2-year career at Alcorn State, but you've got him back for the 5th year. What's it been like to watch his learning and development here now that you do have him in your program?
Yeah, just, his experience and leadership is just been valuable to our group. And that's, like you said, that was one of the things that we kind of identified in him characteristically in the recruiting process. Is just like, hey, this is a great young man. He comes from a great family, has a basketball family. I think his sister's an assistant at NC State, and just, he gets it. He understands it. And so, his knowledge and his leadership qualities have really impacted our guys in a positive way. And, we're happy to finally get him in Wichita.
Well, I know another guy that you've been happy to finally get in Wichita, and also a guy that I know has a family that you really love is Israel Barnes. And boy, 17 points, really active on the glass. I mean, you can see why this guy was a Division I talent and a 3-star recruit. How rewarding is it to get him in the Navy and Red?
Yeah, it's great to get him back home. He's what people don't know a lot about Israel is that he's like their family. They're really close knit. So being back in Wichita is good for him. It's good for his soul, and just to be able to see mom and dad come watch him in person is something that I know he enjoys, and I know they enjoy to have that opportunity. And he's just, like I said, he's a great kid. I'm happy that he's back on the floor and he gets an opportunity. He's been through a lot. It's just some ups and downs and some injuries that he's had to overcome, but he continues to have a great positive attitude every single day, and he's going to help us tremendously.
So a little peek behind the curtain here. When we're doing these Jetcasts, we still do a separate pregame interview for the basketball games on the audio network, and I tell them before, I try to make these so that it's not, because God bless this guy, but I talked to this guy so much. He and Coach Drew and Coach Spence and Coach Potter before them and Coach Ealing before that, get sick of talking to me so much. So I try to make it different. So on the Jetcast, as we move forward through the season, it's not going to be just about the basketball games. So I got to go back to this rivalry between Southeast and Wichita East High School.
Okay.
How big of a rivalry was that? If you missed it, you can go to the Newman Jets men's Facebook page, and we had post game there with Coach with Israel Barnes, and that's when this kind of came out. And I had mentioned to Israel, like, oh, so good to have you on Southeast Buffalo, and you hear Coach Allen in the background. Ain't no basketball players at Southeast. How big was that when you were in an East uniform yourself?
Oh yeah, those were the good old days. We like to say. I had a ton of fun playing. In the City League and Wichita and Southeast, being one of those rivals, and just it's a great program. A lot of good players. Don't tell Israel I said that, but. We go back and forth, and we like to,
You draw a little bit in practice?
A little bit. We constantly going at each other.
When he makes a mistake, is that a taunt? Like, well, that's Southeast basketball right there.
No, not so much. Not so much. It's just one of those things that I like to give him a hard time and just try to keep it light and make sure that we're also keeping it fun for these guys and just having a good time and joking and laughing and trying to keep everything fun.
Obviously, I want to keep it on the lighter side, but last year, obviously, there's a lot of civil unrest in terms of race relations in this country. One of the really cool things that came out of it for me was I did not know that your dad was the first black player to play varsity basketball at Wichita Southeast. He came on for an interview on the radio. We linked to that last year. You can probably find that somewhere, but he was fantastic. Did you know that about your dad before this all happened? I didn't.
Yeah, he had mentioned that, in the past that, kind of his path at Wichita Southeast and kind of the background behind that. So I was aware of that, but him being him, like, he doesn't talk a lot about himself. And so some of the things that you get to hear now and you put it in perspective, it's amazing and just really cool that, I have a dad that experienced that and overcame, some of the challenges that come with that and ended up being very successful.
And the how I want to circle back around is, because I had the chance to ask Coach Allen, because he was on your staff for the couple of years and I didn't, and I feel bad about that. But how does Coach Allen fall on the Southeast-East rivalry? Because he had a historic, legendary, over 200 wins at East, state championship with you at East, but he's a Southeast Golden Buffalo. So how does he reconcile that rivalry?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, East High. He's gonna. He's going to ride with the Blue Aces. So
you must have been a Joe Jackson fan as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So former East head coach as well. So have you been able to talking about the City League, and I know that we've talked in the past about you saying that you'd like to get more local kids here, City League, ABCTL, other local leagues too. Have you been able to get out and do more high school scouting this year with the relaxation of some of the mandates and protocols from a year ago?
Yeah, absolutely. It's completely different. It's nice to be able to walk in the gym and have kids in your gym to come watch and build relationships with. So yeah, we're excited about having the opportunity to get out in the community in Wichita area. There's a lot of good local talent here that we're going to recruit.
Final question for you: Pittsburgh State coming up. This has been your best MIAA rivalry as far as I'm concerned. 3 one-possession games in a row. I don't know if you know this, but your total score last year was tied. And the year before that, they beat you by 2 points. So the last 3 games have been decided by a total of 2 points Pitt State's way. What do you think is going to be the difference in this ball game? And, I mean, there's no reason to think it's not going to be a one-possession game right down to the wire again.
Yeah, that's MIAA. That's what it's all about, and the thing is just getting these guys to understand, like, that one possession may not be the last possession.
Sure.
That one possession could come, with 12 minutes to go in the first half. So just the attention to detail is going to be key for us to have success on the road. We're going to have to defend well, and we're going to have to rebound the basketball. And it starts there. And that's what we've been stressing over the last few days. And we'll see, how we execute come game time.
R.J. Allen, head coach. The Jets get things started in Pittsburgh tonight. So as you're watching this, they're probably on the bus. You're probably there by now, probably, depending on how late in the evening that you are watching this. Once again, we'll have pregame coverage at 5:15 for the women. Women tip at 5:30. Newman Jets Audio Network, newmanjets.com/listen, or watch both games tonight. Newman Jets on the MIAA Network, the MIAA-network.com/Newman. Men will get tipped off at 7:30, and they're back in action at Joplin to play the Missouri Southern Lions on Saturday. Coach, looking forward to this season. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We will have A.J. Morris coming up next as we continue pre-gaming here on the MIAA opening day for the Jets on the Jetcast. Back here on the Jetcast as we are getting set for the MIAA opener. Jets are in action tonight, so it'll be a couple hours. We're posting this early. We will be early on Wednesdays when the Jets are playing on Wednesdays. When we have any kind of Newman Jets Audio Network coverage, we'll have this earlier. So this guy, as people are watching this, you're either at the gym or you're on the bus on the way to Pittsburgh, Kansas. So obviously we are here with A.J. Morris. He is a graduate guard out of North Carolina, a transfer in from Alcorn State. 9 points per game so far this year for the Jets in 5 games worth of action. Did miss 1 game, so 4 games for him, 5 games for the Jets. So great to have you. Thanks for being on the show. Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
A 3-game winning streak for you guys as a team. How does it feel building a little bit of confidence as you head into conference play?
It feels really good. I feel like we're starting to click a little more and find our rhythm and our chemistry. So it's good to have that momentum going to conference.
What do you feel like as a player that you learned from last year adversity? Not necessarily on your old team, the kind of season that Alcorn State had, but just from having to go through all the extra procedures and the protocols and everything that you had to deal with last season to be able to play basketball.
It taught me a lot of patience and to be appreciative of what you have, because our season last year we got sent home for COVID for a couple weeks, so we missed a few games and had to reschedule. So you got to be fluid and you got to be patient with everything.
You graduated from Alcorn State.
Yes, sir.
So you're a graduate player here. What did you graduate in, by the way?
Mass communications.
Okay, so maybe doing something like this here in the future. We will see. I know that there was some sort of a relationship that you had with Coach Allen. He recruited you. He wanted to get you here as a D2 player. Obviously, you would have been a very high-level D2 player. Ended up deciding to go to Division I. But on the graduate side, decided to come back here to Division II and play at Newman. What was the decision-making process like for you, and why was Newman the right place for your final year?
Well, honestly, when Coach Allen originally recruited me out of junior college, I loved the school. Him and Coach DePriest, I really liked them as coaches as well, and just the atmosphere when I came here. Ultimately, what made me decide to come back was they reached out to me relatively quickly once I entered the transfer portal, and then they still had the same passion and love for me that they showed originally, so that helped bring me back.
So now that you are here, what has been the comfortability like in a new system, new teammates, obviously much different culture, much different location, and a much different level too at Division II. What's it been like, and how comfortable do you feel like you are in Coach Allen's system?
I feel like I'm very comfortable now. It's took some adjusting to learn a new system and everything. But I feel like I've been, like I said, learning to be fluid and be patient and take your time with things. So it's been fun so far.
From a basketball perspective, X's and O's, what do you think has been the biggest difference in systems from what you were being asked to do last year at Alcorn State and what you are being asked to do this year at Newman?
The pack line defense. I've never played a pack line before, and typically junior college and at Alcorn, we played a lot of pressure and high, playing in the gaps and gambling a little more. So it's been an adjustment, but we're getting it down.
How much as a player when you were in junior college, I'm sure, if Newman was reaching out to you, I'm sure there were probably some other Division II schools reaching out as well. How much were you aware of the MIAA, and were any of those schools pursuing you? What was your knowledge of the MIAA while you were in junior college and getting recruited as a sophomore?
I had no knowledge of the MIAA. I think that was the year they were about to transfer into the MIAA, so that was my first time hearing about it.
So now that you are here kind of on the precipice, kind of going to be getting an understanding of what this is like, how excited are you to see these MIAA atmospheres, the intensity, and obviously if you don't know some of the big names in the MIAA in terms of men's basketball, you're going to learn because there are some really good programs in this league.
I'm very excited for it. Actually, in my past 2 years, I actually started doing more research on Division IIs and keeping up more so with the Division II league. So I realized how good and how competitive the league was, and that's also something else that drew me back here. Understanding how competitive and how high of a level this actually is.
How interested are you to try to get to, in this 1 year, when you're at Alcorn State or when you're at your junior college, after your first year, you kind of have a sense of familiarity, but you'll have a chance with 3 different teams in your career, junior college, 2-year program, and now your graduate transfer year. You're going to get a chance for the 3rd time to kind of experience a season for the first time. You'll get to see all new teams, all new arenas, and it'll all be squads that you don't have any history against. How excited are you to get to go out and see and play kind of a 3rd freshman season in a sense?
Extremely. That's part of why I love basketball, because it's always been able to take me to new places and give me new experience and let me see a lot of different places around the country and even some out of country. So it's been a fun experience, and I'm ready for this season.
So am I. Just so you know, the Pittsburgh State, obviously last year, you haven't been around for these games. These have been absolute battles. The teams have been the last 3 games have been decided by a total of 2 points. Pitt State's won 2 by 2 points. Jets won the last game of last year by 2 points. I know Coach Allen has got to be telling you in practice that there's no reason to think that this game is going to be anything else other than a 1-possession game. In your career, what's made the difference in these close games for you, whether you come out on the right side or the wrong side?
Just making sure we stick to our principles and sticking to what we practice and just take care of us. As long as we take care of us, we'll live with the results at the end of the day.
Once again, A.J. Morris, graduate senior guard for this Newman team. They are in action tonight, and they will be tipping off the women at 5:30. They will follow. You can hear the game on the Newman Jets Audio Network or watch the MIAAnetwork.com/Newman. It's available tonight, and once again, they will be in action this weekend in Joplin against the Missouri Southern Lions. AJ, great to meet you. Great to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you. And we'll have Faith Mason-Vestal to wrap up the show when we come back.
Where can you land the best Jet swag? The official online store of Newman University Athletics, NUJetsgear.com. Store features the greatest variety of Jets logo gear anywhere. The latest clothing styles and hats to Newman-branded lawn chairs and office supplies and more. NUJetsgear.com is your place to purchase sports-specific, alumni, parents, and hard-to-find Newman merchandise. Shop right now on your computer or phone and use jetsgear.com or click the Shop Now button at newmanjets.com.
Life. It throws you curves and it knocks you down. But what separates the good from the great is the getting back up. Newman University will always get back up. We are a university of doers, of innovators, of transformers. We inspire as we soar to new heights. We will not be beaten. We will not settle for anything less than the best. We are Newman University.
Wrapping up the Jetcast as the Jets are in action. Once again, going to be posting these early on Wednesdays. So instead of our normal 6 o'clock time, we'll drop these earlier in the afternoon. So as you're watching this, you're probably like actually on the court right now at John Lance Arena getting warmed up. So obviously we recorded this ahead of time, so we got travel time. But Faith Mason-Vestal, senior from Rockwall, Texas, playing her last year as a Jet. 12 points per game. She is second on the team in scoring. Faith, so great to have you back on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, did not play last time out, feeling a little bit under the weather. And as we were talking, before, God, when you were a freshman, things were so different. Like, oh, she's sick, she'll get over it. Now, everything's a big deal. How are you feeling?
Much better. Feeling good.
Excellent. You guys have had two very nice wins coming back to back. I know you would have liked to have won a couple against the NCAA Division II teams. However, you've played pretty well. You've had probably the most consistent scoring that Newman's had. You've had double figures in every game that you have played in. How has it felt for you individually, acknowledging that obviously team comes first, but individually, how do you feel like you're playing?
Pretty well. I can attribute all of that to obviously my teammates because they're able to get me the ball down low, and Drew is able to just talk through that with them and just tell them like, oh, get it inside, and once we get inside, we can just start kicking it out. So just once we get that ball rolling, it's really fun.
That's something that Elise talked about, something that you talked about. When a new coaching staff comes in and there are players from the old staff who have had success, new players that come in, freshmen that come in, it's not often, or I guess I wouldn't know, I didn't play, but I think sometimes the girls get along and sometimes they don't. For guys, girls, whatever team, it feels like you guys really do get along and enjoy each other. How has that process been, kind of bringing in new coaches, new players, and kind of getting them ingrained into the culture of Newman basketball?
Yeah, that's something I think that Newman's definitely been blessed with. Like, there's never been a lot of, fighting against each other, things like that on the team. It's always been like a very family culture, and this year is like no different. It's actually been super awesome just being able to see everyone get gelled together, and it's just been super easy to get to know the girls. The coaches are so easy to talk to. Like, you can go up to the office and ask them questions, and like they'll welcome you with open arms. So it's just been like a super awesome experience getting to see everyone.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because obviously you were recruited here by Coach Spence. Coach Crum had a lot of success with them, had a lot of really good seasons. Obviously, the last couple of seasons were challenging. You had some personal struggles with your own injuries that didn't have anything to do with anything else. But when you are a veteran player and you're used to things being a certain way, transition is not always easy. What has the transition been like to being coached by Coach Drew and Coach Nicole? Yeah,
there's very different philosophies between the two coaches. So especially with that man defense, it's been a lot of work during practice, being able to get back to that man and being able to just guard, get down and guard. But I think the transition's been pretty easy. Like, obviously there's been struggles, like in some practices and some games, like obviously that's going to happen, but they're able to talk through everything with you. It's been pretty good. And
then, so I'm going to kind of reveal your age here a little bit because I believe you were around when you guys were still playing man-to-man your freshman year. You guys were just getting into zone that year?
Yeah, a little bit. Uh-huh.
The other thing, too, that I wanted to mention is Faith, along with her best buddy Michaela and myself, with Coach Allen and DeAndre, we're the only ones left to have any recollection of the Heartland Conference. Yeah. Going down to Laredo and Austin and those long bus rides. What is your fondest memory of the Heartland Conference, and what's something that you don't miss about the Heartland Conference?
My fondest memory by far, beating Lubbock Christian. Bria had a great shout out, 27 points. It was an awesome game.
This one had about 24, I believe, in that game, just to give her a shout out as well.
Yeah, yeah, that was the best part of the Heartland. The worst part probably was just, I think the competition was not as stiff as the MIAA. The top 4 were probably pretty good, and then the bottom ones were, so.
There's no nights off in the MIAA.
Yeah, a lot of competition every single night, which is fun. It's invigorating. So.
Well, and something that you said, you got picked as a senior by Coach Drew to go up for MIAA Media Day, and you mentioned with Michaela about how great of an experience it was, about how the MIAA really made you feel special and made it feel like it was a big deal. It was a college basketball experience. What was that like to get to go up there and kind of be a part of that and represent your school and as a senior, and maybe something that you didn't get to do a whole lot last year with coronavirus protocols, and then Heartland Conference really didn't do anything like that when they were a league. So what kind of experience was that for you?
Yeah, they did an awesome job. They made me and Michaela definitely feel big time. So I really appreciated that, get a little bit of experience with interviewing, being able to see Drew talk about the team and about us. It was just a super cool experience.
Well, you are big time, so that's exactly what you deserve. One other thing I wanted to ask about, I just talked to Elise Kaiser for the first time. We were hoping last year, one of these wins, we'll just pull her up and get to talk to her about her recovery. Obviously, preseason knee injury. Didn't happen, but you played so well last time. And I did ask, I don't know if you had the exact same knee injury, but you were in the knee brace. You were out for a whole year. So I asked her, what was that like? Did you talk to Faith? And she said, one of the first people I asked was Faith. How do I get through this? What is it like to see her coming out on the other side of that? And how did it make you feel when she approached you as a veteran player who had gone through this to help her out with what was, I'm sure, a very, very difficult situation for her?
Yeah, I'm so unbelievably proud of Elise. She's such a soldier. We have blockers actually right next to each other. So every day I'm like, hey, how's the knee doing? She asked me how my knee's doing too. So yeah, I'm just super proud of how far she's come. She's really soldiered through all of her rehab. Yeah, and she did awesome in the game. So super proud of her.
Well,
yeah.
Pittsburgh State coming up. This is a team that has been one of the top half teams in the MIAA, certainly since we've been a part of the league at Newman. This is a team that's got a lot of shooting from the outside. Tristan Gegg, obviously. These have been pretty close games. Every matchup in the D2 era has been a 12-point Pitt State win. Until last year, that was a 9-point game, and it was close throughout the entire 40 minutes. It was tied after the first, just could never quite get over the hump the last 3 quarters. What's it going to take to pull out that victory against Pittsburgh State on the road tonight?
Yeah, I always put Newman up against anyone. I think we'll win it against literally anyone we step on the floor with. So I think it's just going to take us biting down and sticking to Drew's philosophy all together as a team. As long as we're on the same page, I think we have a really good chance against them.
Faith Mason-Vestal, senior, number 2 in scoring, 12 points per game. You can catch her tonight on the Newman Jets audio network, newmanjets.com/listen, or watch on the MIAA network, the MIAA network/Newman if you'd like to see her play tonight as the Jets take on Pittsburgh State in the MIAA opener. Saturday, the Jets are at Missouri Southern. That is a 1:30 tip-off in Joplin. Faith, so great to see you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're back with more basketball and wrestling next week, so we'll see you then. Blake Cripps saying, go Jets.